Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Fix Your Focus Live. Listen, we are back. I will be honest, this is our second time live, but that's okay because we're here. We made it. Hey guys, welcome. Listen, tonight we're going to talk about you mistaking planning for progress and how you can overcome that cycle of nothing. Okay. Cycle of not getting it done. We've done enough of cycle of getting it done. We're going to talk about the cycle of not getting it done. All right. Because that seems to be what is keeping us stuck. And it's not that you have a business problem because you may or may not have gotten that far. You have what I like to call a binder problem because, we have that binder, that dream binder, that planner, and everything that we have in our mind for the most part is inside of that notebook, inside of that binder. You've got 5 notebooks and they're full of plans, they're full of vision, but there's no systems that you have in place that's going to bring them to life. And so you don't need another planner per se. What you need is a process. You don't need more clarity. We're not going to hide behind clarity. You need execution. And so today I'm going to show you how you can stop mistaking planning for progress and finally build something that moves, something that you can profit from, something that is going to bear good fruit. Because again, you're building a binder right now. You're not building a business. It's fun to say, it's cute to say, listen, I'm building my business. But if you're not executing on the things, then you're building a binder. It's a great binder. Like somebody who has it, they probably can go grab it and run with it. They're going to do the work. I need you to be on that same page. I need you to do the work because too many coaches out here, they're mistaking planning for progress. You've got the vision board, you've got, the pin boards, you got journals, you have planners, you even have some systems, but there's no execution, there's no engineering behind that vision. And so in today's session, we're going to break down why constant planning is a form of fear. We're also going to go over how to move from binder to blueprint and how to finally execute the plans that have been collecting dust. So, if you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you here. If this is your first time tuning into any of my content, hello, my name is Ola Kimball. I am a business coach. And what I do is I help business coaches, or I help coaches, because you may not be coaching in business, right? And so I help coaches who are over 40 package, price, and promote and profit from their experience. I help you package your experience into a framework that you are able to sell as a coaching program. Um, I am one that is really big on the execution piece part of it because the packaging process, once you get it down, you get it down, right? Once you get it down, it's fairly easy. But I know that for my clients, the biggest issue that they have, they think it's, well, I don't know what to do. It's no, you have a problem doing it. So we are going to work on both. All right. We're going to work on both. So, what I want you to do is I want you to drop clarity in the comments. If you are watching this in the replay, I also want you to do the same thing. I want you to drop clarity in the comments below. If you've ever spent more time organizing your plans than executing them. And the reason why I want you to do this is because I see you. I've been you. I've been there. I know what it's like. I've got notebooks still on my bookshelf to prove, to show. Listen, I know what that's like, but I have been able to execute on my plans and build, like, honestly, I'm gonna say fumble into a 5-figure like coaching practice. Not that I wasn't trying to do it, but like I literally failed my way into it. I figured out all the ways that didn't work. And then I found the way that does work. And so that's what I share with my clients. That is the framework that I share with my clients. All right. So again, we are going to break down why constant planning is a form of fear, how to move from binder to blueprint, and how to finally execute the plans that have been collecting dust. All right. That is what we are here to do. So grab your notebooks, grab your favorite pen. Look, grab that cute notebook that's got just the right type of paper that you like. It's got the right cover that you like. Because if you're like me, then you're a bit of a pen snob. You're a bit of a notebook planner snob too. I'm not even going to say a bit, I'm full fledged. All right. And so we're going to get into this. When we do lives here, they are interactive. So communicate with me. I'm watching my comments as well. So if you have questions as we're moving along, you let me know. You pop it in the comments. I'm here for you. If something resonates with you, I want you to pop it in the comments because you're not only helping me, letting me know that, hey, okay, I hear you. This is resonating. I got you. But this is also going to be helping somebody else who's going to see that comment. All right. And if you're a coach, that's naturally what you're going to do anyway. You're here to help people. So go ahead and start in the comments. All right. So the first thing that we can say is a mistake is that planning, or the reason why, let's start with why. The reason why constant planning is a form of fear. And the first thing is that planning feels productive, but it is very deceptive. Planning feels productive, but it is incredibly deceptive. Well, how is it deceptive? I'm supposed to plan. Yes, you need to plan. Planning is not a bad thing to do. Planning becomes bad when you don't put work behind it. And so with planning, you're getting it out, which is a good thing. You have your notebook, you're getting it out of here. I like that is the first step. You need to get everything that's in here out of your mind and you need to get it on paper, whether it's digital or analog. You just need to get it out, right? Because it's at that point that it's becoming tangible and you can kind of move with it. But the thing is, you need to move with it. The part that we forget is that although it kind of makes it tangible, it doesn't necessarily make it real. It doesn't necessarily make it real. It can become controlled procrastination. When you find yourself constantly planning and rewriting the same plan over and over again, or you get to a certain point in that notebook, you're like, I need a fresh notebook for this idea. It's going to need its own notebook. And so you go out, you spend the money, you get that fresh notebook, you get that fresh package of pens, and then you're like, okay, I think I have everything I need. Let me go ahead and get to writing. And then, like, all of the excitement and all of the motivation that you had for that business, it just drains out. After you got the new fresh notebook, you got the new pens, you started writing everything out, and you was like, man, let me go to something else. I know this because I've done this. All right. It is a form of controlled procrastination. You're moving the goalpost, you're not moving the needle. Your planning is not effective. If your planning was effective, then you would have date. You would have deadlines. It would be specific. You would have metrics. You would be measuring against those metrics, but you're not. Your planning is vague. Your planning has no deadlines. There's not a date on there. There's a someday. There's a in 6 months. There's January, but no year. There are no metrics, so how are you going to measure your progress? How do you know when you're moving, like when you're moving forward versus when you're moving backward? If your plans don't have that, your plans are ineffective. All right? Number 2, you have built comfort around clarity instead of movement. You have built clarity or comfort around clarity instead of movement. And what I mean by building comfort around clarity is that you are confusing preparation with productivity because clarity is safe. Whether you need the clarity and you're looking for it, or you're having it and maybe you're just looking for that confirmation, that extra confirmation, because you're not all the way sure. Either way, that disguise of clarity allows you to hide behind it. Like, as a professional, listen, we are in meetings and people are mentioning, well, I just need to get clarity. Is it that you need to get clarity, or you don't want to accept the fact that was just like what was just provided to you? You don't want to accept that. So you're trying to find a way to worm to get yourself out of it. I was about to say to find the wormhole to get out. That's what we do with clarity. We're trying to figure out a way to get out without saying, I want to get out of this. Also, execution exposes you. So when you're constantly saying, I need to get clarity, guess what? That's an excuse that you use so you don't have to move. You don't want to be held accountable, and that's a problem. So get uncomfortable. That's what I'll say with that. Get uncomfortable. The third reason why planning feels comfortable and why we continue to plan thinking that we're making progress is the vision The vision feels like it's really happening because you're writing it down. The vision feels like it's really happening because you're doing something, you're just not taking action on it, but you're doing something with it, right? Um, and a lot of us, we're doing, listen, you're talking about it, but you're not moving. You're writing about it, but you're not moving. You're journaling it out. You're rewriting those plans, but vision without engineering is vanity. Vision without engineering is vanity. And vanity has two meanings. It means worthless, and it also means conceitedness. So a plan without systems, without structure, without follow through, like it's just decoration. And it's decoration for your doubt. When you don't have those things in place, when you have a plan, but it doesn't have a system, it doesn't have structure, it doesn't have follow through, it is decoration for your doubt. And I mean, you got it decked out. It is, listen, it is restoration hardware up in there. You have everything you could possibly need to decorate that doubt. We don't just like, you're not called to just write it down. You don't just write it down. You don't stop at the writing down. You have to take action. Action is a part of the process. Faith and works go together, they are a pair. That's why faith without works, it's dead. In Proverbs 14:23, it says, "In all labor there is profit, but idle chatter leads only to poverty." So, in all labor, labor is work. So, in all work, in every single bit of work that you do, there is going to be profit. Profit means gain, it means interest, it means plentiful. That means whatever work that you do, there is gain, there's plentifulness, there is interest behind it. Whether that work is good or bad, keep that in mind. But idle chatter, which is talk, it leads only to poverty. So the only thing you're going to do, or the only thing that you're going to receive by just talking about it, is going to be poverty. And poverty is destitution. That's pennilessness, poor, empty, bankrupt. So that notebook with all those ideas in it, if there's no action behind it, this is just a notebook of bankruptcy. If there's no action behind it, then this is a penniless, a worthless, a conceitedness, or a notebook full of conceitedness, a notebook full of worthlessness. I wanted to add another to it. This is a If there's no action behind what's inside of this notebook, then it is a notebook filled with emptiness. Like, you ever you ever been around someone who every time, like, they're talking about the same thing so often, and then after, like, at a certain point you just start tuning them out because they just talk, 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 and you never see the fruit behind what they're talking about? That could be you. That could be you that's doing that. You could be the person that's talking about, listen, I'm a coach. This is what I do. I'm working on my coaching business. I'm working on my coaching business. I'm working on my coaching business. But there is no fruit behind your coaching business. If someone goes to look you up, they cannot find you. Or if they find you, they find randomness on top of randomness because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't read coach. It doesn't give coach. It's not sharing, like, you're not telling people, hey, this is what I coach. Like, this is my, niche. This is my subject of coaching, right? This is what I help you do. It's not giving any of that. So you have to, like, Proverbs 14:23, in all labor there is profit. You're going to get something for every single bit of work that you do. But if there's no work and there's just talk, then that's bankruptcy. That's emptiness. So point number 4, you can't organize chaos into order. Action is required. You can't organize chaos into order. I'm gonna give you an example. Analysis paralysis. You can't think your way into profit. You can't think your way to 4 figures, to 5 figures, to 6 figures. You can't think your way into having a client. There's action required. Action will always reveal what the plan never could. You don't get the clarity until you start taking the action. When you take action, you start to figure out where your calling, where your commitment, and where your capacity meet. It's like one of those things, like when you start taking on clients, you don't know how many clients that you can actually take while working your full-time job. You don't understand your capacity because you haven't taken any action. You haven't done the work. It's not until you do that that you get that data. That data is what's going to help you make decisions and make better decisions. But until you do the work and you're just thinking about it, you're just writing about it inside the notebook and you're saying, yep, we're going to do this. Again, write about it in the notebook, but make sure you take an action after it. Make sure you take an action after it. But if you don't do that, then it's just going to sit there. And again, all talk leads only to, don't forget the word only. There's no other option. It's only going to lead to bankruptcy. It's only going to lead to emptiness. It's only going to lead to pennilessness. If you're not taking action on this, then this is not worth anything. It's worthless. It is vanity. And so you have to get over analysis paralysis, waiting for perfection, doing all the research in the world, but no action behind the research that you gathered. You're researching endlessly. What it does, it creates a perpetual loop of you being stuck. It's just you stuck on repeat. And I'm trying to get you out of it, trying to get you out of that loop. You're stuck in a time warp. I'm trying to pull you out. All right. Next is real progress is measurable. Again, you won't have any progress. You won't be able to have anything to measure if you don't take any action. So if you can't point to evidence, and that evidence can look like results, it can look like habits, it can look like structure, it can look like revenue. All of those things, those are elements of evidence. If you can't point to evidence, then you're not progressing, you are just rehearsing. If you can't point to evidence, then you are not progressing. You are only rehearsing. That rehearsing is just like you just talking about it. It leads to poverty. Just think about it. When we're at work, there's always KPIs. The KPIs of whatever, the KPIs of this quarter, of this year, whatever the case is. But the KPIs, what do? They hold you accountable. If you don't have any accountability, then it's going to lead to rotten fruit. It's going to lead to a toxic environment because the KPIs are not being upheld. No one's paying attention to them. You are not paying attention to them. It's leading to a low quality product because you didn't do the work to test, to see, to beta test it, to put it out there. Does it match? Does it matter to the people you want it to matter to? Is this something that's actually going to solve the problem? Unless you take action, you won't have any type of evidence. You won't have anything to measure. You won't be able to see any type of progress. And the clients that you're waiting for, they react to evidence. Your clients are waiting on evidence. They're waiting on the fruit and they're going to judge your fruit. If they look, you all are judging my fruit right now. Those of you who are watching, at whatever point that you're watching, you are judging by the fruit. Whether that fruit is good or bad, you're judging by the fruit. That fruit is that evidence. I want to see evidence. But if your plans are staying here, there is no evidence. Well, this is what I wrote it all down. No one's going to buy the book. They're buying the result. If you can't show them results, they're not going to buy. You can hang that up. You can hang it up and go find something else to do. Next, you don't need a new plan. So here's the thing, you may start making some moves on what you wrote down, and then you stop. And you stop prematurely. You stop prematurely and you say, nope, this is not going to work. I need a new plan. You didn't even move long enough to get any type of real data. You may have moved on an idea for 10 days and said, nope, this doesn't work. I didn't get anything. Let's not do that. Okay. You don't need a new plan. You need accountability and you need an execution rhythm. Because probably for those 10 days, you probably showed up for 2 of them. So you can't say that, listen, it was out for 10 days and nobody did anything, but you only showed up for 2 days. And it takes a lot of work for you to get attention and for you to get acquisition. All right? In order for you to acquire that client, you're going to put in some work. You have to. It's the name of the game. Like you're already managing a significant amount of responsibilities. As a leader in both home and work, you are already managing a significant amount of responsibilities. And now that you're building your business, that's just bringing on new demands. New demands that you may not be all that sure about. You may be like questioning a couple of things. You're unaware. You don't know all of those things. But the reason why you need accountability and an execution rhythm is because accountability is going to bring you a sounding board. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm trying. This is the results that I've had. Okay, this is what you need. This is what was wrong. This is what was right. That is called accountability. Hey, did you show up today? How did you show up? How many times did you show up? That's accountability. Because us ourselves, we're not going to hold ourselves completely. We're not going to hold ourselves as accountable as we need to be. That's why you need an accountability partner. Accountability also brings consistent progress because you always have something or someone to check up on you. Now, accountability comes in the form of things and people. Things would be the systems that you set in place because the system is going to show you this is what worked and this is what didn't. Also, accountability brings you focus because you're not having to wander through 17 million different tasks. No, you set it up in a specific way. You're knocking each one of the tasks down. And as you knock them down, you're able to see the result. You're able to measure the progress. Now, the reason why you need an execution rhythm is because execution rhythms bring consistent progress. Because again, you're measuring off of metrics and you're doing it in a way that fits your lifestyle. An execution rhythm is all about how you can execute your capacity, attention management, energy management, time management. It also helps, it brings focus and motivation because as you start to knock things down, your confidence comes up, that motivation comes up. You're able to see, okay, I see what's working, I see what's not, and I'm willing to stay in the game. For a lot of you, if you have bowed out of the game like 3 and 4 and 5 times, and this is your 10th time, your seventh go around of trying this, it's because you lacked an execution rhythm. You lacked accountability of some sort. Also, it execution rhythm brings results. Execution rhythm, it brings results. You're able to see, it becomes tangible. And also, an execution rhythm relieves you of burnout. You don't have to worry about burnout because you're building according to your capacity. And when burnout comes into play, it's because you ignored your capacity. When burnout comes into play, it's always because you ignored your capacity because there's always warnings. All right. So listen, once again, it is time that you stop mistaking the planning for progress. Stop thinking that because you're doing all of the planning and you keep rewriting your plans and you keep on buying new notebooks to rewrite that same plan over and over again and you're not taking action, that you are making progress because you are not. But if you want to, then the first thing I would suggest you do is I would suggest that you take the one thing that you've been avoiding the most and get to working on it. Get to working on it in whatever shape, form, or fashion that you can. Because your binder is not going to build your business. That notebook that you have, that planner that you have, it's not going to build your business. Execution does. All right. So stop wasting time. Go execute. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.